Welcome, fellow travelers. Let me introduce you to myself. I am your traveling buddy, and I want to be your buddy. I want to take you on some adventures, see museums, attractions, car shows, and you name it, anything I'm up to seeing. So, travel with me, will you?
And then the other ones are...
Welcome, fellow travelers. Your traveling buddy here.
So if you just go here...
Coming to you from the Michigan Library and Historical Center. Right here in Lansing, Michigan, my hometown. And today starts the M.S.U. Science Festival. And they have lots of attractions today. So let's see what they have in store for us. Okay, travelers, this exhibit's about the Sable River, where across the centuries people have changed the 138-mile river, sometimes dramatically, for logging, electric power, fishing, and tourism. Also, suburban beauty and resides have changed people's too. The river has inspired them to think differently, to develop ideas that have altered how people all over the world to manage fish and fish habitats. Here we are, I have an exhibit about fly fishing. And this gentleman, I take it, used to sell and make fly fishing lures to catch trout on the Sable River. Very beautiful fishing boat. I into fishing big time. I love nature, getting out on the river, catching fish. This boat was owned by George Griff, appointed the Michigan Conservation Commission. 1950s, George Mason saw Griff in the lobby of training hotel and here we have people learning to make fly fishing.
Yeah.
Lures.
Yep, we're tying flies. And we can trim. Can you throw me that piece?
We're ready for step 2 down here.
It's an old Indian canoe. I'd love to have one of these. I am part Native American myself. I am Chippewa Indian. This is probably what my ancestors used to travel around in. It's like arrowheads that they found. This is where I guess they used to breed trout to release back into the river. Yeah, breeding trout to release back in since pollution, is big time. Gotta restock the fish.
Glad you enjoyed it.
Some more, a little bit of history of Native Americans in Michigan. This is a Indian tribe in Saginaw, Michigan. Guess they lived alongside the river. Who knows? Could be distant relatives of mine. Here is the true name of the river, Asobo Can. Oh, this was a place they used to rent canoes.
Pretty nice trip. All right. Good. You like that? Good. I'm glad
It
you
feels
enjoyed it.
weird because you're sitting there and it doesn't even.
Never really done fly fishing myself, but I wouldn't mind trying it
Sit
someday.
on the stool. Your choice. Comfortable for you? Okay. Down on top of the joint?
North, this is right in the
Okay.
corner.
There you go.
That's the fly fisherman place, because they're on.
Make sure you look all around, behind, up,
And
down,
that place is right where you
sideways.
go down the hill and the river's at the bottom.
Thank you.
And then you go down here, that place is right there.
Oh, you're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big mural with what the river actually looks like. Might have to try and visit that someday. And here are the type of fish that are in the
Got a big log out there.
river
Be careful.
Nobody needs to know.
that people are trying to catch.
See that little square in front of you, the shadow?
Need to know
That's the
situation.
camera. It's taking the picture. Camera's filming all around.
Oh, here is a
360
virtual
degrees.
reality of the canoeing down the river.
Okay, how was your trip? Good? Okay.
Might have to try
I'm
that
glad
in a
you
bit.
enjoyed it. Okay, have a seat. We'll get to rolling here in a minute. Okay, you adjust that where it's comfortable for you, okay?
Couple guys canoeing down the river. Looks pretty choppy there.
There you go.
Always wanted to try white rod rafting. Looks like we got a little movie theater in here where you can sit down, learn about history. Something about military heritage here.
Well, that's good, but it's really not necessary. Okay, there's Mark. You can go see if you're taking a break. Okay, how was it going? Good?
Yeah, it's all about military history here. He's got, I think, Shows all the kinds of military. That's Lansing in the old days right there. Wow, definitely changed. And here's our state flag. I have an American flag in front of my house. I never thought about putting a Michigan flag out. Right there is our symbol.
Now turn around and look behind you. That's Steve. Steve is providing all the power to get down the river, and all you have to do is sit back and relax.
Your battlefield gear from World War I think. Here's from the Red Cross. These women were pretty brave. They used to go out in the battlefield. So women could do a lot of things too, you know. A lot of gear they used to carry. A naval outfit from back in the day. A lot different than what they got nowadays. These guys were very brave.
No, you can't put your foot down. Get your shoe all wet. Don't do that.
You feel it? You feel the water?
Okay, here we are in the actual museum. We have some exhibits out here. The figures of the Native Americans, possibly my ancestors. Looks like some fossils, or replicas of the fossils that have been found here in Michigan. Here's a big old piece of copper. Like, I guess they got big copper mines here in Michigan. Have to get up and visit where these actually came from. And up here, with a big old giant mirror, like, I don't know what we call it, statue or mural of Michigan. Here's a little thing I guess my ancestors used to live in. This is the kind of stuff they used to live in. I don't know how they did it here in the wintertime, I'll tell you, because I don't like the winter. It shows them in the winter there. Winters are very cold here.
What does it say about race?
Another canoe like we saw downstairs. It's remarkable how they used to make these back in the days.
I'm Sagittarius.
More stuff from the War of 1812. Fighting over the rights of Michigan. Now here's what they were fighting over. The Washington Territory, Saginaw Territory, Detroit Treaty, Chicago Treaty. capital history. This is our present capital that we have here. We weren't the first capital. First capital, I believe, was in Detroit. Actually, this was the original capital here in Michigan before they built that one. Quite smaller. And here I have a statue of our first governor, I believe, Stephen T. Mason. There's actually a town there, too far from Lansing. It's named after him. We will visit that place too. Yeah, this is the first we joined the Union, became an actual part of the United States. See, here we go. I said the first capital was actually in Detroit, right there, and then they moved it here. Not sure why they did that, but the way Detroit's going, not surprised. And here's a Michigan map. Another photo of the very first capital in Detroit. I don't know if that's still standing or not. I wonder if it is. And here's an example of one of the buggies back then. Imagine driving in these compared to these cars nowadays. Very uncomfortable. The Indian Expressway, as they call it.
Point, Connecticut?
Some of this area in Pennsylvania. It's a juice heart.
Here we are in the fighting for the Civil War. A little model of the battlefields. It's hard to believe a lot of these people died for something so stupid.
This could be settled over here. This is civil rights. Civil war.
Make one music with it, real life. You had to carry everything.
Yeah, slavery was not very good.
Could be the campaign torch.
So many people here. Here is Custer, which, believe it or not, he was from Michigan. Actually, a town named after him. My grandfather is actually buried in the cemetery named after him. And there's Lincoln on his deathbed after John Wilkes Booth assassinated him.
Yes, so during her truth, she spent a good time. She moved here though, didn't she? Right. Highways were from Native American trails. It was mine. Understanding.
There's a drum from the war. I almost say those guys were the true brave ones. They were sitting in front while I was turning when the people are shooting at them. They're drumming on a drum while people are shooting around them. That's crazy. No telling how many of them died just from doing that. Said they had to be very brave to do that kind of job. Just standing there, no weapon, just drum.
Usually those kids.
Right. Like I said, that's just crazy. When you see those pictures of them just standing out in front and people shooting at them around them, and I'm like,
And the
it's crazy.
drummer player is
This
usually
gentleman
a boy.
here is dressed like a Civil War soldier. Yeah. Very sad war, you know, over something so stupid as slavery. You know,
Well, it wasn't
who
stupid
can
at the
own
time.
men, you know. But that's the way it was.
It was. That's what it was. I think one of the more interesting stories is Sarah Edmonds over there. She enlisted in the 2nd Michigan Infantry using the name Frank Thompson, disguised as sex. Fought in some engagements. She claimed that she was also a spy and nurse. Rather than have her sex revealed, she got real ill. She was
There's Abraham Lincoln talking over the Civil War.
In the 1880s, she had convinced Congress that
Just imagine the hell he had to go through deciding who lives and who dies. And there, we even have an African American fighting along to help free his own people. Thank God we won.
she was from originally Canada. She enlisted in the 2nd Michigan.
That is interesting.
The white man definitely did a lot of bad things. I mean, imagine. No, I'm not doubting African Americans, but you know, Native Americans, they were screwed over by the white man too. They came here, pushed us off our own land.
Isn't that interesting? And here we are, 130, 40 years later. Actually more than that. 150.
Politics in Michigan. Kinsley Bingham, 1955 to 58.
Problems with women wanting to serve, transgender, and different issues like that. Here she was, kind of 150 years ago.
This woman, I guess, lived in Battle Creek from 1857 to 1883. Traveler, county speaker against slavery. And here we are, the mining area. Saw that copper back there. I guess Michigan is very known for copper. Who knows, half the pennies in your pocket are probably from, there you go, the machinery moving there. Probably going down to the mine. Imagine it back in the day, they didn't have light, electrical lights and stuff. They had to have, as a matter of fact, here's one of their helmets. They basically had a candle on top of their head. Here they have a replica of the mines. You can go into the mine. see the way it was back then. Man, imagine it. Sitting underground like this. Pray to God it doesn't collapse. Guys. You can't see very good, but there's a mine car back there. The miner sitting here. See, like I said, there's a candle on top of his head. That's crazy. All while working your butt off to make somebody rich. Here they used to, how they used to raise it up. Let's go way up there. Raise up the rocks. Car. This is where they used to process the copper. This is how they make stuff. See, there's all these pots and stuff like that, all made out of Michigan copper. They're smelting. Look at that. Look at the size of that thing. You used to drag the logs along. Imagine the horse that had to drag that thing. Had to feel bad for him.
No, I'm not. I look like one, don't
Okay.
I? Yeah, you have to dress up like this. They do a lumber program for the kids at school. So they
This gentleman dressed like one of our historical lumberjacks.
Well, if I was a real lumberjack back then, I would get paid $1 a day.
$1 a day. Can you imagine that? $1 a day.
That's not very much money, is it?
Yeah.
But you
See what I mean? Made the tycoons rich and you got poor.
No, I wouldn't.
Just for chopping down a tree.
So it's,
No, still no?
it was always in the wintertime.
Excuse me. This is how they test the life of a tree. The rings, they count the rings.
The rings?
Yeah, they
Cutting the rings?
they count the rings
Yeah.
to determine how old the tree is.
Okay, who's, I mean, for what reason are we cutting?
Well, the tree they're cutting down for building buildings and
yeah.
stuff like that. But what they're doing is they determine when the tree was actually born,
Okay.
and they count the rings to see how old it was.
Gotcha.
Like you, I mean, I'm not saying you, but I mean,
No,
like you
I'm
count to see how old you are.
Hey, I know 75
Well,
when I see it.
Right.
I hope you're a good guy.
I'm recording for YouTube.
Well, hey, we're fine.
That's fine. That's the little things I've learned. Yeah, it's like you count the rings and it tells you, and then they'll tell you what year they cut down.
It's so interesting. It really is.
It is. It's very interesting.
I was never really big on history.
History. Yeah, I'm big into history.
Are you?
Yeah.
Well, I finally got my husband going on it. And so I have become a little bit of I read a few books every now and then.
That was my big subject in school.
Was it?
I loved history. I had a history teacher. They used to dress up and come and teach us how
Gary
and
would do
stuff
that.
like that. It
Where'd
was
you go to
nice. Everett High School.
Where?
Everett.
Oh, Everett, sure. I'm
Everett.
sure. Yeah,
Right here in Lansing.
He went into several different schools, complete, all the clothing, all the whole schmear. God, the kids just loved it.
Right.
So that's just loved it. So that works.
And I just learned about this YouTube stuff. I watch a guy on television that goes around to history museums, and, roadside attractions.
Yeah.
I figured I'm going to give it a shot.
Well, hey.
Start my own trail.
You got
You ever look it up on there? Someday you might see. I'm the traveling buddy.
Hey, I'll remember. I'll remember the traveling buddy. Okay, good.
I'm gonna be. This is my first one, and I'm filming.
Okay. Well, you go for it.
Thanks for talking to me.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome.
Yep. You have a good day.
This is my husband. You
Oh.
know, say, get
Oh, really? The lumberjack's your husband. Oh, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. This thing's heavy.
Just be glad you didn't have to do that stuff, right? I was like, I was just thinking, man, the horse had to drag that thing. Man, can you imagine that poor horse?
And it was-
They had to drag that
was
thing.
really dangerous being a teamster. That's where we get the teamster name, by the way.
Right. Is it?
Teamsters Union. Yeah, you go horses. But you'd go out and work when it was 40 below zero.
Oh yeah.
I read an article and a guy said, you know what, we never got frostbite, we never got colds. You know, it was a healthy
crazy.
lifestyle if you didn't, you know.
Yeah,
get-
That's crazy. Well, it's like
Treated.
like I tell people all the time. See, I'm part Native American, and I always tell people, I'm one person. I don't like winter. I hate the snow, and I'm like, I don't see how my ancestors did it. You see that thing back there that they used to live in? I'm like, how did you do it? I'm like, really? I mean, it gets cold here.
Isn't that a wonderful mural that they have there?
Oh, yeah.
Richard
Beautiful.
painted? Oh, man. He
Very
did a
beautiful.
Nice job on that.
Yeah, I mean, that's that. I just don't see how they did it. I mean, 'cause me, I can't. I gotta have to eat. Like, I couldn't do it. I mean, I turned into a bear during the wintertime. I hibernate.
And so did the animals. I mean,
Right.
it was hard hunting.
Right,
They
but
think,
the
oh,
Native
God,
Americans
there's
are still
all
out there tramping in it. I'm
All
like,
these deer around there. Not so, not in the Indian times. That was tough.
nah, how they did it, yeah. 'Cause I just couldn't see the horse dragging that big thing. I'm like, imagine they were back on him.
Yeah, look it over here. Look at these two horses right here. And they
Oh,
could
yeah.
pull that load.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. They had to haul that. The poor horse.
And
Had to drag all
sometimes
that.
they'd have to hook an extra team of horses just to get it started. And but they had the roads iced up, so that's the only way you're going to move those.
No wonder some people got kicked all the time. I would kick you too if you made me drag all that.
Oh yeah. Sometimes you're going around a curve and the chain breaks, you know, and all the logs go rolling off.
Oh yeah.
There was
Yeah.
a lot
I
of
mean,
opportunity.
you think about it. I mean, I ain't gonna say the lumberjacks weren't heroes, but you think of that horse. That horse was a true hero.
You know, it's a sad thing too that those horses had to pull so many heavy loads in the winter. By springtime, they would try and sell these horses to farmers, and they couldn't even pull a plow. I mean, their muscles were so shot.
Well, it's the same way in the old wars. You know, you always think the soldiers are heroes, but you think of the horses that these guys were riding
when
and
they
got
pulled
shot.
those-
They were the first ones that got shot.
They pulled those heavy cannons
You know,
and stuff.
and they
all the time.
don't mention that. You
No.
know, when they talk about it, I mean, those horses were heroes.
Oh, you think about that.
You know.
The Civil War and all.
Oh,
those
yeah.
People that died.
And
My
that
God,
first
think about
person-
how many horses were killed.
Oh yeah. Then the old West. You know,
Yeah, in the old West.
how many horses died for?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was tough, but you know, it was a free lifestyle kind of. I mean, these guys
Right.
would farm,
Well, that's the
farm
way.
in the summertime and work in the logging
And
industry in the
unfortunately,
winter.
that's the way their life was. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's right.
if you had to make money,
Everything.
like you said, $1 a day. I mean, you can imagine that nowadays, $1 a
Yeah,
day.
I know it. And you didn't get paid till spring.
Really?
all winter,
That's a
you didn't-
spring.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then, of course,
Yeah.
Lot
And then you had to go through these rotten winter. Look at these loggers out in the snow,
yeah.
chopping down trees.
Yeah, well, up north, they had a lot of heavy snow, you know, and that
Well,
looks
even
awful
today.
cold here. There's an ice sled, you know. That would be a cold job, too, running that thing around.
Yeah. Can you imagine? See those two poor horses.
Did you touch the bottom of those shoes? Those are the
Oh.
shoes that the river hogs use.
Oh yeah, how they walk on them.
Oh, and they ever sharp.
Oh yeah,
They're really sharp.
big sharp spikes,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Imagine a guy got pissed off and started kicking somebody with
Well,
those things.
they called it logger's pox. You
All
get
right.
kicked in the face, you had all these little red marks all over
Guys
your
getting
face.
into a fight, and next
Yeah.
thing you know, kicking somebody. Oh, I
And
forgot
then-
I was wearing my shoes.
And the little towns up there that had boardwalks, they just tear up the boardwalks walking around with those things, you know?
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was something else. That's a nice set of.
The snowshoes. See, that's
Those are the
what
big
people
ones,
used to
the
wear.
long ones. Valuable too.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, it might cost them $3,000 for a pair of horses. I mean, man, but they made a lot of money in the logging industry, so
Yep.
they could do it.
Well, they even have African Americans working
Yes,
There's
we
African
did.
American
Yeah,
down there,
we
you
did
know.
have some working in the field.
I think we were the North, and we actually accepted the African Americans.
They also made good hunters for the logging camps. But there weren't that many deer and game up there, you know, when we had the mature forest. When we started cutting them down though, then the deer population just boomed.
There they are floating down the river there.
Yeah.
That's what that exhibit downstairs is all about. Is they're
Right.
trying to refurbish the river. That
Yeah.
fortunately all these loggers. I mean, yeah, even though they were doing good for building,
Yeah.
they didn't do good for the river.
No.
You know.
No, they really didn't. And look at these two guys with two axes going to cut down this great big tree.
All right, can you imagine that?
man.
Just by hand. Nowadays they got chainsaws and stuff like
Oh,
that,
Right.
and these guys were doing it by hand. Now that's just
And
tough.
this is a cook shack that floated down the river. There's a cook there, and when the guys, those take them probably a couple of weeks now sometimes to go down the Muskegon River. And, you know, so that was the longest river. They called it the Queen River. Queen of lumber.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I couldn't imagine living back then. I mean, it's interesting. It wouldn't been mine to visit, but.
There weren't many ways you could make money, you know.
All right, more of those pictures of the river. See, look at the size of those machinery that those poor horses had to carry. God, can you imagine that?
Flip this. Say just hold him for it.
Oh, I mean, you know, history, there's many heroes in history, but God, you think of those poor horses, and they don't get the recognition they deserve. Playing a little toy puppet. That's what these kids used to play with back then. Look at that.
Kids' toys.
It's alright. She's doing alright. Look at that. Much different than the video games today, isn't it?
Harder too.
Yeah, a bunch of toys. All wooden toys.
I can't believe we've never done that.
I remember back when I was in school, girls used to still do that stuff, and now they don't do that anymore. Got too many video games nowadays. Got the phones and video games.
No.
Me either.
Not yet. She's like. That's how they used to keep warm back then. They had to have a fireplace. They didn't have furnaces like we have nowadays. Farmers of Michigan, growing corn. Yep. How you folks doing today?
We're doing fine. We're talking about Native American, what they would have eaten.
Right.
And what settlers would have
Yeah,
brought
see,
here.
this is what the Native Americans used to do here.
So
And this was everybody else.
spice is the thing that the
Yeah.
settlers had.
Right, settlers
they
had.
had access to it.
Luckily, they finally got together and people mixed
Well,
the
I
stuff
think
together,
so
you know.
eventually. But they all would have eaten fish.
Right.
You know, fish.
Fish,
abundant,
yep.
very abundant here in Michigan. They would have dried it, smoked it, and the settlers would have salted it. So, because in winter they needed a meat source. And when the lakes
That's what I
were
always say
frozen.
today, you know, people always talk about, you know, the homeless and stuff. I mean, I ain't saying nothing against the homeless, but you're hungry, get a fishing pole, you know, grab some fish.
There you go.
There's fish in the river.
Then you need somewhere to cook it, huh?
Right, you know. Yeah,
These are different.
this is how they used to grind the stuff up there.
This,
Is mustard
this is
seed.
mustard.
Yep, mustard seed, see
And
that?
I add a little bit of this apple vinegar, and you get a little bit of
Is that how you made mustard?
mustard.
Yep, that's exactly what it
Mustard?
is.
I'll take a little bit of that. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of spicy.
Yeah. This is cacao beans.
Cacao, oh, they make chocolate.
Chocolate out of it.
That's your chocolate before it becomes chocolate. Actually, back then they didn't actually mix it with sugar, did they?
No,
Nowadays they make it with sugar and everything, and
Yeah, you wouldn't really want.
that was kind of dull. It was probably dull, wasn't it?
This
Kind of
is-
like a dark chocolate a little bit.
This is a little bit of a cinnamon.
Cinnamon, that's the cinnamon sticks. Now those shakers that you got.
What do you think that might be?
That, I believe, not sure what that is.
That's vanilla.
Oh, that's vanilla. Wow.
The beans are inside. If you rub your hand over it, you can feel the beans.
I didn't realize that was vanilla. Yeah. Kind of like a pea a little bit.
You can actually can smell it.
Yeah, that's vanilla. Yeah, never realized that. That's how it came.
This over here is. What do you think?
Oh God, is that oregano?
No, it's cloves.
Pepper?
Cloves.
Close.
Oh, cloves. Oh, I said cloves. I think you said cloves. Sorry. The cloves. Yep.
There's still a little bit left on this. You can smell that, and what do you think that is?
Oh, that's oregano, isn't it?
No, it comes from these. Are those beans, actually?
This here?
Yeah.
Nutmeg?
Yeah.
It's nutmeg.
Oh, nutmeg. Okay,
Yeah.
that's nutmeg.
Is that really beans? Would you call them beans?
No, it's not.
It's a nut.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of a nut.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Hmm.
This here is sugar.
Well, that's the sugar. Yeah, that's how the sugar used to come. Not too much for a different from nowadays. How they do it nowadays, how they package it. You know.
They snip it off.
Yeah, this is just in a cone. Nowadays, it's in a big old block.
They process sugar cane, and after you process sugar cane, you could get this,
That,
which is molasses.
that molasses. Yep.
You process the molasses some more, and you would get brown sugar.
All right.
And then when you process the brown sugar some more, you get the white sugar. And to use it, you get a little sugar snip. Would you call it a snip?
Snips.
Snips?
Mhm, yeah. You can snip it off.
Yep.
Now that is a little bit different.
That's is it Japanese or Chinese?
It's Chinese.
Chinese.
It's a drink.
Oh, that's like a recipe for a drink?
No, it's just, you can use it as a drink.
Oh, okay.
Turn it over. This is how it would travel with people. You would just take a block of this off, take that with you, scrape it off, and put it in some hot water.
Wow.
What do you think you get?
It's like tea.
Tea. Right?
Tea.
Yes, but it's
Wow.
compressed tea.
I thought it was just like a plaque or something
No,
like that. No, you had to carry that. Man.
Yeah.
The
That's
Chinese
crazy.
break off a piece of that and carry it with them when they travel, so
Right.
they always have tea.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I thought it was just a plaque showing them what plant was, and no, that's actually what you used to drink.
That's right. Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, thank you very much. There we go. Let's start with the machine rage. Right there, the steam engine, tractor. The railroad. That's a weird little car. It looks like a bicycle that go right down the train tracks. Yep, railroad. Never really see these going down the things anymore. Boat anchors. There's not a lot of goods come out of Michigan. Believe it or not, we used to actually ship Christmas trees in Michigan. These guys used to sell the carriages here in town. Guy almost looked like Sundance. Hey, now we're gonna go upstairs here. This is Growing Up Michigan. School. Time for school.
I hope you're smarter.
This is how the kids had to go to school here. A lot different than what it is today.
Get you a next lesson. Wow, look at you. Nice job.
Just imagine, all classes were in the same room. From kindergarten
It says take
till you graduated.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 from 4, 4, 4, 4.
Here's view somehow houses were very small back then. You know, even the couches, God, basically a love seat. There we go, a better view of it. Small rocking horse.
Oh, this door is locked. Yeah, don't come in.
Oops, sorry.
Don't put that chair.
Dining table, that's where they used to eat the dinner. Breakfast. Excuse me.
Teacher, my donkey. Teacher, my donkey.
These are all people, I guess, famous for the area. That's how they used to cook their food. Actually had to have firewood. See, they used to didn't have gas and electricity like they had nowadays. Didn't have running water. They had to pump it from underground. So be blessed with what you got nowadays, I swear.
How the usual rituals performed. We ate our supper, we had our bath. At least my mother and I held rendezvous with the washtub in the kitchen. My father had already been closeted behind a door, with much sound of splashed water and Centurion rugs. We put on our clean nightgowns and crept into our clean, cold beds.
January 8, 1883. Pleasant but cold. Commenced school today again. The first day in the new brick building. I am number 1 in our grammar class for this month. We won't find out how much we are in other studies until tomorrow. I stood 99.8 in grammar. The next higher stood 98.
Now see that there? Believe it or not, that was their bathroom at
The
night.
prospect of a bathroom was pure unallowed bliss, and how father looked forward to his first bath in his own
They
bathroom.
call it Chester pot. We used to use that at night.
Brought into the kitchen
To have had to run it out to the outhouse.
and then emptied outdoors.
Here we are, the front of a Oldsmobile car. See, now everybody talks about Henry Ford. Now this man here does not get the respect that he deserves. He created a lot of cars before Henry Ford. Henry Ford created the assembly line, yes, and all that. But And his name used to be huge here in Michigan, in Lansing, but now they seem to want to take his name away from a lot of things. They had a baseball field they named after him for a while, but now they changed it. And everything else is being wiped away. Oldsmobile. Here we are, is the way Ford's assembly line was, like I was saying. It's like, I give him props. He created that. This is how they used to build the cars. Not the big machinery robots now that we got nowadays. These guys are the chassis up there, hanging up there, and ready to go on to the he's creating pull out a bunch of cars. Look at that. There's the finished product. You know, I'm a Ford fan. Those are the real cars there. The cars back then. These cars nowadays, too made out of too much plastic. There's the farm. It's the same way with the farms and tractors. This is what did away with the horses, you know. So horses got legit, and then in the future they really got legit. Now they're like for recreational rodeos. Which at least they're not being killed like they used to. See, the people that put America on wheels. See, here's Chrysler. Well, there's a picture of Ransom Old. So at least they're in here. They got a photo of them and all that. And they give him some respect, but like I said, Lansing seems to want to erase his name from everything. It's getting sad. I mean, they have a museum downtown. It's not very big, you know. And there's Henry Ford. The guy who takes credit for everything. Even though he wasn't a very nice guy, but when they say in history. I mean, they even have a Walk of Fame downtown where, you know, they honor people in history in Lansing. And they got Henry Ford there, but not Ransom. Which is, I think it's wrong. That back there was the Model T. Here's where they started upgrading. See, cars back then had nice body lines. You know, these cars nowadays, they're nice looking, but it's not very beautiful. I think these are beautiful. Tires with wooden wheels. See the wood. Old bus there. See how nice, I mean, now everything's boxy nowadays. There's even people camping, the old camper towed behind the old car. Again, there's taxidermy deer. We're famous for deer here in Lansing, Michigan. We even get, believe it or not, we get deer downtown Lansing sometimes. Then there's racing. Grand Rapids, Michigan Equal Francis Club.
Oh, give me a break. For deer having fun. There's a woman coding.
Well, they used horses then too, at least.
Tilt your head. There you go. Smile.
War bonds. There's Uncle Sam.
Smiles.
Ingham County War bonds. Asking people to give up their, go fight in a war. And I'm not saying we don't need military. We do. It's just sad that people have to die for some stupid stuff. Those machine guns. And here's the history of movies. Rudolph Valentino. A movie theater in there. You can look at the history of movies and film.
Sing a little movie theater music.
Imagine what tickets back then were cheap. I seen it where they pay 5 cents to watch a movie. Nowadays it's like $8.
Song written by Michigan composer Carrie Jacobs.
Charlie Chaplin, The Gold Rush.
That's Charles Chaplin.
The Lovely Tramp. Now this is how I used to call for firefighters and stuff like that. You used to ring that bell. If you see a fire, ring the bell. Old teddy bear. Believe it or not, history of the teddy bear is from President Theodore Roosevelt. They created, some lady created a teddy bear to honor him, and so they called it the teddy bear.
I think we go this way.
Hello.
Alright, that's.
Metal toys. The toys were made out of metal. Although that's not, I would say that's not, those are some pretty sharp edges on there. I'm sure kids got cut on those a lot. That's where plastic got a little green in toys. Here's some of the vintage clothing from back in those times. That's fur right there. Yeah, that's no nowadays. People don't like to be seen wear fur. Up here is a little storefront. See, that's what's cash registers look back there. No computers, no. Yeah, really do it yourself. Not like the shopping centers and stuff like that of today. And here's a history of Prohibition. Look at that. Stills. Moonshine. Organized crime. Now, believe it or not, a while back I found out that Al Capone actually owned a home here in Lansing. Somebody bought a house and found a tunnel, an old escape tunnel that Al Capone owned. Now here's the real scary exhibit. Well, this is eye exam, looks like. I thought it was a dentist chair. Oh yeah, it's where you get your eyes examined, get your glasses. Doctors back then didn't have much technology we got today. They did a lot of stuff that killed people. And here's a barber chair. Now, can you imagine ladies having your hair done with that thing? Can you imagine that? Yeah. Here's the history of the union for Michigan auto workers. There's a burial famous burial. I think the real one's in Detroit, but this one here, just a picture of it. The union workers, they wanted the rights that they deserve.
Was to obey the law and sit down and bargain.
Here's a little film.
Not to bargain. Days turn into weeks.
The GM, Ford, and all them fought against the union. They didn't want the union.
Organizer Walter Reuther successfully organizes support strikes at GM plants around the country. In response, GM uses another.
So here they actually had people that were beaten
the man caught in the middle
because they fought for the right for the union.
We will work our way out of this struggle.
I don't know if that's real blood or not, but
and without injustice to anyone. I am confident.
pretty sad. Look at that. I mean,
there will be a better
guys getting beat up because they want to get paid better.
And employee.
It is now February 1st, the 34th day of the strike. The National Guard stays on alert as Murphy encourages serious negotiations. But the workers devise a plan that will
leather around the back and all that so you could beat somebody.
The new sit-down strike at Chevy Plant 9. Outside the plant, the Women's Emergency Brigade, made up of workers and workers' wives, demonstrates in support of the strike. A violent struggle follows.
And all of the men come out, they're dancing and they're dancing.
There's your history. That looks like a view of the Great Depression. That's hard to believe that people went through that, you know. Well, this is a little model of, there used to be a company here in Lansing. They used to make bodies for GM and Oldsmobile. It's fish body. They actually used to make carriages at one time too. There you go, Michigan fans. There's your Michigan gear. But Lansing here, we're the home of the Spartans, Michigan State. And I know a lot of people like Michigan better.
I'll go look. You can go back.
This is here's your history of baseball here in Michigan. Detroit Tigers, that's our team. Football team is Lions. And then you got the Red Wings hockey. There's what your football it looks like back in the day. Uniforms are a lot different than what they are nowadays. This weird little car. I've seen this car before, I'm not sure. During the 1930s, Frank D. Green decided he would build a miniature automobile. In a day, his car was a great attention getter and still is. Green, an auto parts and equipment supplier, cut down the body of a Willys over land to create the Roadster. A single-seater and auto reflects the era where he made our own fun. The steering wheel, the 60 horsepower V8 engine came from 1934. The hubcap's gear and just very weird. Very interesting. Oh, firefighters. Here we go, firefighters. They're putting out a fire, forest fires. Look at that thing they had to wear on their back. That was probably had water, just water. Look at that. These guys are very brave to go out there. So a lighthouse. And my mom, she likes the lighthouses, and hopefully they take tours of lighthouses around Michigan. I'd like to do that someday. And probably vlog it and show you people. Now here is the history of the sinking out on Lake Michigan. Port Huron Station. This is Coast Guard. You know, these are the people you call if your ship's sinking out there. Most famous ship that is sunk out there is the M.S.U. They even made a song for the M.S.U. Come on, buddy. Here is half of a warplane these men used to fight in. It's crazy. Look at that gun. Imagine riding in that thing. Almost looks like something out of Star Wars. Of course, this is before Star Wars. There's the Nazi symbol. Believe it or not, the Nazi symbol used to be an actual religious symbol before Hitler turned it into something evil. See, there he is, the big spider. Hitler. Yeah, he was just evil. How anybody could have followed that man, I don't know. Just like nowadays, we sometimes think about Kim Jong-un. I mean, he keeps threatening us, just like Hitler used to threaten us. And these people are trying to raise war bonds. More of the industrial age, they said while the men were off at war, women took over. Rosie the Riveter. I wonder if they ever found out who she really was. She was a real person. The lockers that women used to use. Detroit is dynamite. And here is how they used to live back then. Before televisions, there's your television, there's the radio. It's just the radio. Couch. Listen to the Lone Ranger. Old vacuum cleaner. Ironing. On the bed. I always said the beds looked so short back then. It's like people were short. Imagine some tall person that had to sleep in that bed. There's the airplanes and helicopters being made. See, there's a full vision of what that plane looked like. There's another vision of that. That thing was huge. And here's a military Jeep. I don't think they use Jeeps in military anymore. It's all Hummers and everything. There's the engine. Imagine putting that in your car. I bet you somebody has probably tried. There's a big old missile. Like I said, a lot of people died for this stuff. I mean, I don't agree with the war, but I understand it to a point. Sometimes I think, oh, we get involved in things that we shouldn't. There's a Jeep. Those things used to be able to fly. Look at that. That's why they're really good off-road vehicles nowadays, and people love them. Old 50s style kitchen. There's a refrigerator, or what they call it, an ice box back then. Everybody with your cell phones, now look at that. Look at that. That's your home phone then, rotary dial.
But the workers were running late, and so they strung temporary construction lights so they could work into the dusk hours. And people on the
Well, here's the thing where you can build a suspension bridge.
Put together this change order to add the lights to the bridge.
Homemade suspension bridge, like our Mackinac Bridge.
Yeah.
Nice lights on it.
Yeah,
Oh, wait a minute.
and it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it is gorgeous too.
Yeah.
How you doing today?
Good. Very cool.
What were the ferries like before the bridge was built?
We had 3.
Okay.
You know, by statute, the ferries all ceased operation on November 1st, 1957. Because they wanted no competition for the bridge. They had to capture all the revenue to pay on the bridge.
There's a replica of our
So they shut down 3
Mackinac
private
Bridge.
country companies and laid
Which I
off.
plan on getting up there. I've never been there. Oh, here's a piece of it right here.
But, you know, had
Look
big
at that.
bridge, so.
Right.
Actually could touch
You
it.
can still take, the railroads kept the railroad ferry.
Okay.
Because that was.
These are the guys that built it. This gentleman here is dressed like the construction workers.
Yeah, so I got my little thing here. Can you pop that open for me so I can hook it on there? You know how that works?
No, I can't. There's gotta be a...
Well, there's a secret to it. It's a double latch. You got to release the thumb before you can get it to pop
Ah, safety.
open. Yeah, safety harness.
Ah,
So you gotta release
the thumb?
Yeah, release that.
Oh, okay, there you go. There you go. Very smart.
How do they do the railroads now?
They still take ferries
They
across.
still ferry.
Oh, yeah. How you doing?
The lights from the top of the Mackinac Bridge. That's crazy. I couldn't do a job like that. I'm not afraid of heights, but I do not think I can do a job like that. That's just crazy. Sitting that high up on a wire.
The bridge. All the pieces are now right. 1 through 6. Here, take number 1 and point it up against. You guys can build that one. The other, the blue, you can find it. Here, I'll tell you how to do it. Okay, and then just do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And here's the naval officer uniform.
Just tell you to trick the bridge together. So all of these blocks numerically and numbered, they're nice and snug.
Oh, it's getting vaccines.
Do it right, it'll stand up.
Jerry Ford Jr. for Congress. Looks like he was related to Gerald R. Ford, one of our presidents, which I plan on visiting his presidential library, which is in Grand Rapids, Michigan. His military thing, uniform, and shows how they used to live. See here, as I said about the Detroit Lions. See, the Detroit Lions is our state team. Not a very good team either here from people. And here's the history of grocery, which I actually work at a grocery store. I work nights, so that's how I get to do this stuff during the day. Here's Myers Supermarket. I used to work for them at one time. I'd like to get to Grand Rapids where they were from and see if I can't find their old building that they used to preside in. There's pink toilet. I knew a couple people that had pink toilets and sinks. A bathroom scale.
New messages received from Hunter.
You did it. Pretty cool, huh?
Nice work.
Yeah, look at that. Nice. You got a nice arch bridge there.
You know about a blue booklet published by Michigan State University West Virginia.
And here we are in honor of GM and stuff like that, and automotive world. Got an old Corvette in here. There was a concept car that seen that on Jay Leno's garage. They actually still have that car somewhere, but it doesn't look like that. They still actually have that car. Oh, this is down. They used to be able to make your own car on the computer. And models of the old cars. The automotive world. So GM originally was Oldsmobile. And they bought the old sold out GM. Now we come into music. And all that. History of music. And all that. People, like I said, people listen to the radio and all that. Here we go. We got Stevie Wonder, which, believe it or not, right here in Lansing, he went to a blind school here. There's actually a little school. It's no longer open, but yeah, Stevie Wonder went to a school here. Most of these people came right out of Detroit, Music City. Motown is what they call it.
There's no running away, there'll be no one to save. We'll roll in a grave. Take a look around you, boy.
War uniforms. That's probably from Vietnam. That's sad. One war that we did not win. And we lost a lot of men, and they still never been. A lot of them never found. And here's a history of Martin Luther King, Bobby Kennedy, John F. Kennedy, Malcolm X, all assassinated. And the hippie world, that's the 60s right there. See, they don't have no marijuana or anything, but that's the hippie world. Vietnam, like I said. And then more about the horticulture and rivers and stuff like that. I think they're talking about pollution there. There's a bottle down there. There's a fish. Taxidermy fish. Boat motor. A sail, but no sailboat. There's a picture of Lake Michigan. Log cabin. I always wanted to live in a log cabin. Newer style, but of course. There's an old hunting lodge. Snowmobiles. I don't think you can catch me riding a snowmobile. I don't like winter. Try not to get out in the snow. Right here inside, we actually have a pine tree. Said, we're famous for our pine. Michigan pine. And right here, what I was telling you about, divers, and I think he's diving on the Edmund Fitzgerald. See what I mean about our winters? This is how our winters can go right there. You know. Mackinac Bridge, what we just saw a while ago. And there, the mirror of the actual bridge. And every year they do a walk across it. That's a big thing where you can walk across the bridge. And right here, what I talk about winters is, this is our snowfall. They give you the year and how many inches of snow we got. Now we got a lot of snow. All-time low was in 1930 through 31. And 79, we got, well, 394.4 inches of snow. Makes anybody not like Michigan have any snow. And here's the Mackinac. People canoeing across the Mackinac. And then we're back here. All right. All right, folks, that'll do it for me today. Hope you had a great time. You know, I hope you like what I did. Be honest, this is my first time, so be gentle. And, you know, expect more. I'm planning some other things. So, till next time, see you around the mitten.